So this is how I answered question 1. So the first thing I need to do is to multiply the brackets out, and I'd get 1 plus 4x squared minus 12x plus 9. So that's what I'm integrating with respect to x. And when I integrate the 4x squared, I add 1 to the power, divide by the new power. Integrating the minus 12x gives me minus 12x squared, adding 1 to the power, dividing by the new power. And then the 1 and the 9 together, I can add those together and integrate those directly to give me 10x. I don't need the plus c because I've got these limits here. This is a definite integral. When I substitute the upper limit, 2 into here, I get 4 times 2 cubed over 3 minus 12 times 2 squared over 2 plus 10 times 2. And then when I substitute the lower limit of 0 in, I just get 0. So putting that all together gives me an answer of 20 over 3, which is the same as 6 2/3. Did you get the same answer as that? Did you do the same method? There are other ways of doing this. Okay, so have I actually answered the question yet? Well, I've answered the first part of the question. Yes, I've actually evaluated the integral. But what about the interpretation? I haven't done that yet. Well, the interpretation, the integral is the area between the curve and the x-axis. So if I'm going to interpret the answer using a sketch, I need to sketch this graph. So let me do that. Now I'm trying to draw the graph of y equals 1 plus 2x minus 3 squared. Forgive my handwriting. And one way of looking at this, it's obviously a quadratic, and it's a smiley quadratic, not a sad one, because the coefficient of x squared is positive, it's 4. So I'm going to think of this as I'm going to look at the minimum value of y. And when does that happen? Well, the minimum value of y would happen when 2x minus 3 equals 0. So that's when y equals 1 over 1.5. So when x is 1.5, we get the minimum value of y. Well, what is the minimum value of y? Well, the minimum value of y when x is 1.5, 2x minus 3 is 0. So then y is equal to 1. So there's the minimum point on the quadratic. The only other thing I need to know is where does it cross the y-axis? Well, we know that when when x equals 0, we've got 1 plus minus 3 squared, which is 10. So the graph cuts the y-axis at 10. There's a very scribbled picture of the curve, and our integral goes from 0 to 2, so we are integrating up to there. And so the interpretation, this 6 2/3 that we've calculated, is that area there. (20 over 3). So what I've done here is to give you a rather neater version of that graph, showing the area there in red and confirming that the area here is 6 2/3. This slide I've used a wonderful package. Whoops, not GeoGebra. GeoGebra. So I will be using GeoGebra a lot more as we go through these questions. I can recommend that you have a look at GeoGebra. You can actually download it onto your mobile and your laptop, and it's a brilliant tool. Okay, so that's question 1.